Hey guys, today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'll explain why in a moment, but first I want to start off by saying if you're new here and you're wondering why I'm filming in my car, it's because I am on my lunch break and I don't have time to run home and get into my office and make a video. And by the time I do get home, after picking up my kids and getting everybody settled and everything, it gets to be very late. And if I didn't wait until they went to bed, my house would be very loud and you would just hear my kids like running up and down the halls upstairs and trying to, look, I am at my house. I don't know about anywhere else, but at my house, kind of a really popular person. Okay. So I can't really I can't take a shower. I can't go to the bathroom. My moms know, all the moms know, all the wives know. If I go into my office, and I've tried it, I know, I can't tell you how many times I've had to edit stuff out of my videos or restart my video because my kids are like, mommy. Sometimes they need something. Sometimes it's like, can you open this, or can you even though they walk right past their dad. Nope, it's only good if mom opens it. We all know this, right? And that's fine. That's how it's supposed to be. I'm not complaining, although, I'm also kind of complaining. But anyway, I'm saying this to say that that's why I'm making videos in my car, because on my lunch break I can pop in my car, turn this on, talk to you guys, and tell you my thoughts. And I want to tell you my thoughts in this moment because I think it's important, and that's why today's video is going to be a little bit different. And also, I just not only is it important, but I just want to get my side of things out there. Okay, you're probably already confused, like, get your side of things, what are you talking about? So again, for those of you who are new here, I started this channel about a month ago now. I have a small following, I think about like 26 subscribers, something like that. Very small. And they are loved dearly. They know this. I tell them every time. And they're great. They love the content that I give, and which just so happens to be content that I'm proud of. This is a channel where, it's more of a hobby. It's a hobby. That's another reason why I'm making this video in my car. I don't really have any of the equipment or like a nice like soundproof room. I don't have a separate office from my house. Like, there's some people who they've expanded above and beyond to the point where they don't even film at their house. They just go to their actual office, and that's their actual job. For me, this is not my actual job. I have a career. I have a medical career. So I do that part-time. So most days out of the week, I'm working at my career that I also love. I love doing what I do. And so I say this to say, because I'm newer, you'll notice that I don't have a huge following. You'll notice that I make mistakes, probably. I think if you go back and look at any YouTubers, even like ones who have gone above and beyond now, if you go and look at their very first videos, they don't look like the videos they're producing now. You should be in whatever path you choose to do, or even in a hobby. If you're starting to garden, I'm sure you made some mistakes along the way. You probably planted seeds and they didn't grow. And then the next season you try it again and you try something different, or you read some more books, or you do whatever it is you need to do to then expand on that knowledge and do it better the next time. That's normal. That's called growth. And it's recommended and generally considered, like I said, normal. So that's where I'm at. I'm in this stage here with this channel of we're learning, we're growing, and hopefully that continues on the learning and growing side. And I learned my next lesson. And it's not really a YouTube lesson, but it's a little bit. And let me explain. So I'm not going to call out this person. I'm not going to say who this person is, because number one, I have a huge, I have a great respect for this person, for this creator. And so I have no want or desire to This is not me taking somebody and saying like, oh, you deserve to be called out and thrown under the bus. So I'm not going to call them out because they don't deserve that. They deserve respect. They do a really good job and they put in a lot of work for what they do. And I'm not upset. I have no reason to be upset. If anything, I'm grateful. And other people might not see it that way, but I want to explain my side in this and why I feel grateful. So let me just start off and tell you what I'm talking about. So the internet's crazy. I learned. For those of you who are not following me on X, it's probably most of you because I literally just got an X account. I've never had an X account. The only reason why I got it now is because of my channel. I'm trying to expand, my outreach, and I figured, what better way to do it for, get an Instagram, whatever, all these things. So how this started was I was trying to reach out to somebody to see if I could find out who they were, because they were also looking through the files and they were having a hard time with, making videos about it and things like that. As a newer YouTuber myself and somebody who's also interested in finding out, important things in the files, I thought we could work together. And so I reached out to a creator to see, could they make that happen? They told me to reach out on, X or Instagram, things of that. I already had an Instagram account, so I just went ahead and just messaged them on there, and that went great. But I had never had but at that point, my channel, the Veiled Reckoning channel, had no platforms outside of YouTube. So it was that moment that I expanded beyond that in order to be able to reach this creator so that we could make something like that happen. And again, like I said, it went great. And then I realized, oh, maybe I should just have this. Maybe I should just have other platforms, because then you can create on there too. And that's fun and that's great. But it also helps keep you up to date on things. And that's what I found out about X. So I started expanding out and I got an X account, and I immediately was like thinking, this is a completely different ball game here. This is a whole different realm. Because you have to understand, so my social media presence, outside of being a creator, my personal social media presence, I started on MySpace, okay? I know, for the young people in the chat, in the group, you're like, MySpace? Wow, you're a dinosaur. Yeah, MySpace, okay? And then everybody started switching over to Facebook, and I remember being a never Facebooker. I'm like, nope, I'm staying on MySpace, Facebook, because you have to understand, MySpace was awesome. Like, MySpace was the era that I will always miss. It was a time. And it's one of those things. It's like when your parents talk about being in a different era, like the 80s or the 60s or like there's you had to be there. It's just one of those things where it's like, I can't even explain it to you. You just had to be there. Okay. You could create like your own page. You could change the color, the layout. People learned how to like do coding. You could put in certain codes, copy and paste, and your whole page would look like whatever you wanted. It was like painting your room a different color, putting up posters. You could do whatever you wanted. You could express yourself in so many different ways. People could click on your profile picture and music would start playing as soon as they got to your profile. So you could force people to listen to your favorite song if they wanted to go on your page. It was, like I said, it had to be there. So that's where I started. Then I was a never Facebooker, and once MySpace eventually died, because all my friends just slowly but surely started filtering over there, and there's nobody I was basically talking to myself on MySpace. I'm like, well, it's kind of like being the last one at the party. It's like everybody already left. I guess it's time to go. And so I went. And I got a Facebook. And I believe I did that in like 2010, 2011, somewhere around there. And that's where I stayed. I never got next. I got busy, you know. I married my high school sweetheart, okay? And we had some kids, and I went to college. I graduated from Oklahoma State, and I started moving up in my career. And yeah. And here I am. And so that's the experience I have with social media. I didn't even have a Twitter when it was Twitter. I think I did have a Twitter. I think I like created it because we were like, oh, Twitter, go on Twitter. That's the thing. But I went on there for like a day and I was like, this isn't for me. And I think I was just at a time in my life where Twitter was just not something I was interested in. I was younger. I didn't really care about like being updated on politics or like everything in the know. Facebook was a lot more fun at that time. It was just a different time. So for me, I think I made the Twitter, checked it out for a day and was like, no, and never went back to it. I don't even remember. I wouldn't know how to log into it. Let's just put it that way. Like, I haven't logged into it since it was called Twitter. And yeah, so I got the X account for this platform, and I was like, well, this is different. That's how you know you're getting older. When like you log into X and it's actually like, oh, this is better than Facebook. Like immediately I was like, I don't even know why I'm on Facebook. I don't even want to log back into my Facebook. This is way more informational. I can actually see like everything I need to know in an organized space, and it was like, oh, so this is where everybody's been. It was kind of like the same experience I had with MySpace, where it was like, it's just, you know, when it's time to go. It's like, well, the party's over, you know? And so I feel like I had that same experience all over again with X. But it's a learning curve. It's a learning curve. All right. Facebook's different than MySpace. There is no creating your own page. There is no putting music on. It's a similar to MySpace, but it's different. X is similar to Facebook, but it's different. Some might argue it's even more different, and I think they would be correct in saying that. So I've been like, when I comment on stuff, I realize like, oh, I accidentally didn't comment on the right person's comment. This isn't right. And so then I have to delete it. I'm like, well, now it looks like I'm deleting stuff, and I don't want people to think I'm just saying stuff and then deleting it. And then it took me forever to even figure out how to even read the comments, because there's like the little comment bubble underneath like a post. And so you click on it, because on Facebook, when you do that, it just opens up all the comments. On X, it immediately pulls up a text box so that you can start typing your comment. And I know like for those of you who are on X, you probably already know that. And you're like, yeah, duh, I know it's X. For me, but like you have to understand, I don't know. This is my first, I just got here. Okay. I just got here. I'm new here. But I finally figured it out. Like, oh, you click on the people and then you can see, okay, I figured it out. But so I just got this X account, and everything's going great. I'm having a blast. I'm thankful and that it exists. And I see other people, you know, everybody's commenting, everybody's doing stuff, whatever. Well, for those of you who are unaware, yesterday, I will say this person, because this is, without saying who they are, the context is, actually, no, I don't have to say who they are. So there's a content creator that I watch, and if you watch the same person, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. So there's a content creator I watch, also does a very great job. Also, I have a very huge respect for this person. I follow them. They had a live yesterday, and the live was talking about certain things that certain people might not want them talking about, or showing things that they might not want this creator showing, and their live was taken down. And this creator posted about that on X, and they posted about it late. I think it was like 11 o'clock at night or something, at least in my area. And I was actually getting ready to go to bed, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, are you serious? Like, this is getting to be outrageous because, you know, there's other creators that their lives have been getting taken down. They've been banned from even doing another live, all kinds of stuff. And I just was like, this is crazy. And earlier that day, so here's the mistake that I made, that I realize now. Earlier that day, I was watching someone else's. So I'm going back to sorry, we're going all over the place here, but the creator that I was talking about before, I was watching their live. Okay, so we have creator number 1 and we have creator number 2. Creator number 1, I was watching their live earlier that day, and I was watching their live on my account, my YouTube account that has ads. Now, the placement and timing of these ads was very unusual. Don't get me wrong. I understand ads are just going to pop up. It is what it is. But I'm saying, like, there would be, this person would say something, and then it was kind of like a very important thing, something that you would think whoever they're talking about might not want people to hear or say. And an ad would just like pop up right then and there. And it's like, okay. And so it's like, the first time it happened, I was like, okay, that was probably just coincidence. But then it wasn't even like a moment later and they're saying something else. And mind you, this is a live. Like, why are ads even popping up during a live anyway is beyond me, but whatever. I don't control that. I don't know. But then it's like the timing of this, they would, you know, they're talking for like a while, not even a while. They maybe change the topic and then maybe they go back to that topic and now all of a sudden another ad. Like right when they're about to say something about, I don't know, like just certain things that have to do with certain cults or maybe Mr. E or something along those lines. And it's like ad. And it's like it's like consistent, and you know, and every once in a while it's like, okay, maybe that's a coincidence, but how many coincidences does there have to be before you start wondering, oh, is this a coincidence? Because an ad coincidentally, ads never seem to show up when you're talking about like grass growing or something, you know? So I pointed it out, and I pointed it out on this creator's live, and they acknowledged it, and they didn't acknowledge that they believe that that's happening. They acknowledge that it's a possible, you know, maybe. I think that's where I stand on it too. Like, yeah, maybe. I'm just pointing it out. I'm just saying, like, it's kind of weird. The timing is a little, you know, the coincidence. I'm just saying, like, that's a weird coincidence. Like, wow, that's a weird coincidence. Noted. Okay. And I was going to move on with my day. Like, I was like, oh, okay. Just thought I'd let you know. That's a little weird. And I was never going to bring it up again. Truthfully. At least that wasn't my intention. I'll say that. And then I watched creator number 2's live later that day, and it was great. It was fantastic. I learned a lot, and I think a lot of people learned a lot. And I'll just say it was probably one of the best lives that this creator's ever done. They did a fantastic job. I think they hit the nail right on the head, and that maybe was the problem. I don't know what the problem was. I'm not even going to speculate on what the problem was. It's not for me to say or even speculate on. I'm not going to do it. But I'm just saying, maybe, considering what was being talked about and the fact that the live got taken down. And I don't really want to draw any more attention to that than there already is. I've contemplated even like not making this video, because this video might actually end up also being an issue. And if it does, I'll take it down, because I'm saying all this to say I don't want to be an issue. I made this channel because I wanted to help people. Not necessarily to help content creators, but if there are certain things that I find or that I think maybe would be helpful to them, I'm happy to share those things. And I've done it. I'm happy to collaborate, work together. In my opinion, I feel like we're all on the same team because we're all humans and we all operate under the same God. And I just because of that alone, I view us on the same team, but I think we all have the same goal. And so, yeah. So I'm happy to do those things, but that's not what this channel is. Like, my channel isn't, like, just waiting around, for people to make a video and for me to, like, be like some, like, vigilante or, like, crusader and be like, we have to do it. Like, now, when the time calls for it, the time calls for it. I don't think that the time calls for it necessarily right now to be, like, some, like, vigilante crusader type of group. Like, that's not what this is. So that's not what I do. But I do watch other people's content because A, I like it. And B, I get information from that content as well. Sometimes, as you've seen from my previous videos, I'll pull up creators' content so that I can elaborate on that or give my additional opinion or what I think in relation to that. Okay? So that's another reason why. And also, I pay attention. I pay attention to things. And maybe that gets me into trouble. Maybe I pay just a little too much close attention to things. And I think that's fine. It's just maybe I don't need to mention everything that I pay attention to. And that might be where my mistake is at. So anyway, as I was saying before about X, because I'm new to it, I guess I just didn't realize so hold on, let me back up a little bit here. X, the way that I view X, it's kind of like it's the game. You got to be ready for the game. YouTube's kind of like watching the YouTube videos, watching the creators and all of that is like practice. It's like going to football practice or basketball practice or soccer practice or even piano practice lessons, whatever. When you get on X, at least how it appears to me, my experience has been that's the game. Like, the game is started. We got it. You know, you're the quarterback, that's the running back, you're the wide receiver. This is the game. Okay? You can't drop the ball in the game. All right? If you're going to be dropping the ball, we need to address that in practice. Okay? But this is the game. Or if you're practicing piano, this is the orchestra. This is the concert. Okay? You can't be messing up keys and be out of tune in the concert. Okay? And I guess I didn't really fully understand that until I was called out. And rightfully so. And that's why I'm not going to say who the creators are, because number one, the creator that did point me out, I watched part of their live this morning because I was at work, I'm still at work, so I couldn't watch the whole thing, but I did notice that they did address it in practice, so to speak. And it was kind of like one of those, it's kind of like, you know how when your boss sends an email to everybody gets the email and they don't say who the email's about, but like, you know, the email's about you. That's what it felt like. It's like the email at work where you're just like, that email's about, that's like, if your boss sends an email like, all right guys, let's make sure we're all cleaning up in the break room. Don't leave a mess in the break room. Let's, you know, we gotta be cleaning up after ourselves. Or let's say they leave, you know, hey, make sure you're putting in the orders correctly. Don't do this. And they like specifically list everything that you did. But without naming you. And, very professional. I will say that it's very, very professional a nudge to say like, hey, please don't do that. And that's why, again, that's why I'm like, I'm not mad. This isn't what this is. I'm not calling this person out. I'm not going to say their name because I'm not calling them out. If anything, I respect that. I might just have thick skin. I have thick skin. I work in the medical community. I work, I work with doctors. I work with, more specifically, I work with cardiologists. Okay. So anybody who's worked with cardiologists or cardiac surgeons knows you got to have thick skin, because they need you to know what you're doing. And if you're not doing what you're doing, if you don't know what you're doing, they're going to call you out. And rightfully so, because you need to know what you're doing. In addition to that, I have been told that if somebody doesn't care about you, if somebody doesn't care if you crash and burn, if somebody doesn't care if you get hurt or if you're going to do a good job, then they just won't say anything at all. They will just let you nail yourself into that coffin, because they're like, I don't even care. I don't like this person. I don't want to see them grow beyond where they're at. I want to see this person fail. I'm not going to give them my advice. Okay. And so that's how I viewed this. I viewed this as like, again, like I said, X is like a game. It's like the game, and then YouTube's like the practice. So this for me was kind of like getting coached, where your coach pulls you aside in the game and he's like, hey, we're in the game. Don't drop the ball. Okay. We went over this in practice. We literally went over this in practice. What are you doing? Okay. If the coach didn't care, then they would just put you out. They would be like, you got sideline. You might even get kicked off the team. Like, you might not even be playing anymore. You might just be. And I think, like I said, the fact that like, I wasn't specifically called out, is proof to that. Is proof that that's really all that was. And that's how I took it. And I appreciate it, because here's the thing, guys. In any career, and here's my unsolicited advice for anybody who cares. If in any career, if you want to succeed, you need to be able to accept criticism. You need to. It is so important. And I struggle with it at times. I struggle with it. I guess it depends on the type of criticism. Deconstructive versus constructive. In my opinion, this was constructive criticism, and I value it because it helps you. That's what people don't understand. In today's day and age, especially in my age group, I feel like people have a really hard time taking constructive criticism. They always think people are trying to attack them, or they're trying to, like make mountains out of molehills or anthills or whatever. But sometimes they're just trying to help you. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about the fact that, like, yeah, maybe they could have said it a little bit nicer. Maybe they're a little rougher on the edges. But, like, obviously they care, or they wouldn't have said anything at all. Or this creator could have done and said so much worse. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Is like, I genuinely am like, that is so valuable to me, to know that there are people out there, that the people who are, who have a huge following, who have people that take them seriously, that they also take everybody who might follow after them, or maybe not. I'm not insinuating that at any point I'm ever going to reach that level. I would be shocked. Okay. Whenever I get on here and I talk to you guys, I genuinely, to me, I personally feel like it's probably going into a void. But if anything, it just makes me feel better to talk to you guys and get it off my chest. And if that's all I get out of this, that's good enough for me. I have a life. I have a career. I have a husband who loves me very much. And I have 3 beautiful children who also love me very much. I don't need validation or likes or comments or a million subscribers. I don't need any of that. I am already so fulfilled and happy. And I think that's what kind of sets people apart, there are people who get on this platform and that's all they want. Like, they're just looking for, like, to achieve a certain status on something. And it's like, okay, and maybe they achieve it and maybe they don't. Maybe they spend their whole life trying to achieve something that they never will. And that's okay too. That there's people that are doing all kinds of things. I'm just saying, for me, that's not my goal. My goal entirely and always has been and will be to pay attention. Number one, pay attention to what's going on. Read in between the lines. I'm always going to look into things, investigate things, and then I'm going to hop on here and be like, hey guys, I don't know if anybody else has noticed, but this is what I've noticed. And you can take it, you can leave it. But like I said, my goal is to be helpful and not hurtful. And if by me doing something like that ends up being hurtful, then it's my responsibility as a team member, as a fellow team member, human being, to take a step back and say, hey, I don't want to I don't want to be the reason that somebody gets hurt or somebody gets stressed out. Like, that's not my goal here. And like I said, if that means that I need to take a step back, do some self-reflecting, do some learning and some growing, then that's what I need to do. And I think that's what I will be doing. I need to just take a step back and kind of read the room, kind of see what's going on. I think what had happened was I wasn't picking up what was being put down in practice. So I went to practice. I missed something somewhere, obviously. So I take full responsibility. I'm not blaming anybody else for my part in this at all. As a matter of fact, none of them are even at fault. It is 100% my responsibility on my platform to know what I'm doing and when I do it. And that's why I'm making this video, because it's important. It's important not just for me, but for others as well, because things are getting weird, guys. Like, people's lives are being taken down for a reason. Okay. The ad thing, again, that's just speculation. It's a strong gut speculation, but at the end of the day, it's still a speculation. So I can't prove any of that, but it's still weird. Okay. So there's just some weird things going on. Things are getting tense. Okay. And, so it's important to understand that. And when, creators are telling you something, if you care, it's important that you listen. It's important that you say, hey, you said we should be doing A and we're doing B. Maybe, if you care, maybe stop doing B, something along those lines. And I think that's more than fair. And I think it's important, because the last thing that we want to do is have the people that are doing all the hard work stop doing it. Because that's ultimately, that's what would happen, is if the people that are doing all the hard work that they do, doing all the research that they do, and putting out the information that they do, and taking the time and the effort and all of the work that goes into that, if they do all of that and it's not being respected, and it's causing them distress, and it's causing more issues than are necessary, then I wouldn't blame them for saying, like, hey, I can't do this anymore and I gotta walk away. I wouldn't blame them. I'm not saying that's what they're gonna do. I'm not saying that anybody's told me this. This is just how I'm viewing it and what I'm picking up from being what's put down. I'm kind of reading in between the lines a little bit on that. And so I say all this to say, if for any of you who haven't been on X and don't even know how to navigate X like me, just be careful of that, I guess. I learned the hard way. And that's pretty typical for me. I usually learn almost everything the hard way. You learn quicker the hard way, but still the hard way. So yeah, for this reason, I think I'm going to take a step back for a little bit. I'm just going to evaluate my goals, and I'm going to just kind of sit back and observe things for a little bit and then get back to it. I'm not quitting. This isn't discouraging me in any way. This isn't you know, I don't know. This isn't stopping me. I guess I'll say, like, this isn't a bad thing. This is a good thing. This is a really good thing, because this is where growth happens. This is where personal growth and personal reflection happens. And people should do that more often. People should say, hey, we need to take a step back. We need to see what we're doing and where we want to go from here. And I think that's really important. In addition to that, I will just say, when I made the post, what it was is I was trying to bring forward information, and I did it in such a way that it caused conflict, and it could potentially continue to worsen things for the creator who had their video taken down. And that was a mistake on my part. Those were not my intentions, and I won't be doing that again. I'll tell you. Yeah, so I don't want to dwell on that. It's really not that big of a deal. And I just want to say, for people who don't know, like me, just be mindful of, you know, respecting other people and their wants and concerns, and do your these people do a lot of work, so do your due diligence. This is where I went wrong. Do your due diligence and make sure that when you post something, that it's in a line with that, you know. And I'm not saying you have to go and like grab a notebook and be like, okay, so we should do this, we should do that. Like, watch, you know, I'm just saying, like, just pay attention, you know, read the room if you can. Don't do what I did. Don't pull a veiled reckoning. We can call it that. We'll say, you know, people are gonna pull what they're gonna pull. I pulled a veiled reckoning. Don't pull a veiled reckoning. Don't do that. Don't do it. And you know what the worst part is? The worst part is that the post is getting so many views that I didn't. I've been on X for like all of 2 seconds. I've been on X for 2 seconds, guys. Obviously not literally, but I mean, I've been on there for not even a month yet. Okay, it's like brand new. It's like probably like a week or two old, maybe not even. And I was not expecting my comment to get as many views, likes, or comments that it did. As a matter of fact, if you go and look at if you go on my X right now and look at my wall, I think I have like 5 followers, and I have all down my timeline is me posting stuff with 0 likes, 0 engagement. I'm literally talking to a wall. I'm talking to myself on my X platform. And that's fine. I could talk to myself all day. That's what I'm doing right now. I like doing it. That's the problem. See, that's where, you know, you can't get me to stop doing something that it doesn't bother me to do. You know, I will just sit and talk to a wall. Somebody has to talk to the wall. If I don't talk to the wall, who else is going to talk to the wall, guys? You know, like, that's just how I feel about it. Like, I will sit and talk to the wall. I actually quite like talking to the wall. We've become good friends, real good friends. I have noticed the paint chips. I have noticed the markings. I have noticed everything about the wall. The wall and I we're like this, okay? So I will talk to the wall all day. But I'm saying that because it's like, it's not like, I'll say this. When I made that comment, I made it with the full expectation that it would get 0 recognition. Let me just, like, maybe not 0, like, I was hoping that, like, people would take it serious, because I think it is kind of like a weird thing that people should notice. But I didn't know that it was going to be that. I didn't do what I did on purpose. I'll just say that. Like, I didn't, if you guys go see it, you're going to see it. Again, like I said, I'm not going to call anybody out. They don't deserve it. And, whatever. But I didn't do that on purpose. I was just trying to explain what had happened earlier in the day and explain where it had happened and what I noticed. And I genuinely thought that the creator that was involved would see that and be like, oh, it's this crazy lady again, you know? Because I genuinely, like, they're like, oh yeah, that's right, I remember they mentioned that earlier. Okay, anyway, moving on. Like, I didn't think that they would respond. I did not think that there would be an issue. I posted that and felt great about myself. Like, I posted that and I went to bed. Like, I posted that, I was like, all right, I can sleep peacefully now. Like, I got my opinion out into the world and I can go to bed. And I did. And I slept great. I slept like a baby. And then I woke up to my alarm. I woke up and I turned my alarm off and I opened my phone and I was like, it was that moment. It was like that moment on like the Hangover movie, you know, when he's like on the phone, he's like, yeah, I'm not going to say this word, but like, we messed up. Yeah, we messed up. And I just like, I was like, no. No. Like, that's not what I wanted at all. And I will say it wasn't a complete failure mission, you know, because first of all, it's getting the views that it's getting because of who is involved in it. More than likely, I'm not going to take credit for the views. And I just want to be clear, like, I didn't mention the person I mentioned in the comment because I thought it was going to get more views. I genuinely was just, I don't know how it works. I literally did not know that it was going to do that at all. Okay? Most of the time, you have to understand, most of the time when I make post a comment or anything on any platform, whether it be Instagram, you have to go look at my Instagram account, look at my Facebook account, all of it. I have the links listed. Go see what engagement I get on there. It is basically zero. It is basically zero. Especially on Facebook, it's zero. Instagram is definitely zero. I think I got like over 1,000 views on one of my reels once, but like, that's about it. Okay. I mean, even on my YouTube, even on this, I guarantee you this video, I wouldn't be able to believe it. You would have to pinch me if this video gets above like 15 views or something like that. Okay. I'm not joking. So when I made that comment, I fully anticipated that to just completely get swallowed up into the void, like all the rest of my posts and comments. Like, if I was like an influential person, if I was somebody that like had a huge following and like people were actually cared or paid attention to what I said, you know, I wouldn't have been surprised. I'd be like, oh yeah, well, that's common. So when I opened up my phone and I saw the amount of views and likes and comments on the thing, I was like, that's how I knew. I was like, oh, we messed up. That is not how I want. That's the thing, is like, I'm not in it for any of that, but if that does happen, if I do start to get more subscribers, more viewers, whatever, I don't want it to be because I'm creating conflict with people. I don't want that. I would just rather not do it then. I would rather, that's not who I am. That's not what I want. So if that was the case, then I would just not do it. I would rather not share my opinion. I would rather take a step back. I would rather take my hands off the wheel and say, you know what? I'm not very good at this. You guys seem to be doing it better. I'm going to take a step back. And that's essentially what I'm going to do in this moment. Not because I don't think that I can contribute or that I shouldn't contribute. As a matter of fact, I will be continuing on. I'm just saying I need to learn some more, okay? I'm not ready for the game yet. I'm not ready for the game. I might still comment on there and stuff. I think I'm just not going to be as, like, direct. I'm not going to try to, like, give people, I'm going to try not to draw attention to myself, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not going to intentionally withhold what I think is important information by any means. I'm just not going to, really try to draw that much attention to myself. And I don't think I ever really was trying to begin with. I think I was just trying to get information out there. So yeah. And also too, it's not just that. I was actually already going to be taking a step back for a little bit because, in my personal life, I have an issue going on at home. There has been some water damage to my home and we are going to be displaced for a little while. And because of that, it's going to make it really difficult for me to create content. And if I do create any content and videos, more than likely it might just be the ones that I'm making in my car, because it might be the only place and time I can, considering we're going to be displaced while they, fix up my house that has water damage now. So, I don't know when I'll be back to, creating the content that I usually do. Hopefully soon. My next video will more than likely be focusing on, like I said in my previous video, Thomas Medlin. I did reach out to a source that might have information or have helpful information. So I'm waiting to hear back from the source to see if, they might be of some help for that. Otherwise, I have my own information from publicly available information. I'll be putting together a video to hopefully get going on that. So anyway, I hope you guys take care. We're not done reckoning. This is a good thing. I just need to do some soul searching is all this is, and some learning. And I advise and recommend for everybody to do the same. I think it's good. I think it's all good for us to just take a step back, get grounded, pray, talk to God, spend time with your family, which is what I plan on doing. And focus on, get focused. What is the goal here? So that when we come back, we're ready to get in the game. And we're going to win. We're going to win because we have the best coach ever, and we have the best team ever. And we're just great people. I'm telling you right now, if you follow any of the people that I mentioned, and I'm sure even without mentioning their names, if you follow them, you probably know who I'm talking about. And if you follow me, I know you're a great person. For the most part, I would say, we're all human. We all make mistakes. I made a mistake. But if your goal is to learn and grow and do better and fight for what's right and speak the truth, then how can you lose? All right, guys, I better get back to work. Thanks for listening to my rant. It's pretty much almost an hour long. Like I said, I could talk to a wall for an hour. I'm fine with that. Try stopping how can you win against the person who will literally talk to a wall for an hour? Who else has that kind of patience or perseverance, really? All right. You take care, guys. And like I said, follow me on X. You can be my 6th or 7th follower for the moment. And you can watch me talk to myself on my wall. All right.